gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good evening, good evening. Hello to everybody. Welcome to another episode of B.A.D.D. Business. I am your fabulous host, SHYNEN SAFFRON. Glad you can join me this evening. I'm going to give you guys a chance to come on in. I have some important stuff I'd like to talk about this evening. I tried to send out some information. I've been kind of lost in the sauce. I mean, if you guys have been as busy as I am with this back to school stuff and trying to do as much as you want to do, first of all, salute to you for making it through the week. But it's just been so much going on. I had sent out something short of a PSA about the PTA. I am thinking about joining the PTA in either one or both of my daughter's school this year because one, I need to be one of the first to know what's going on. Two, I want to be one of the first responders, if you will. And three, I want to make sure that my voice is heard. Learning that if you are not a part of the school or any type of, program, something like that, you could just be considered a disgruntled parent, right? Just like an employee, that gets let go for something and comes back and blows the whistle, right? You can sweep that under the table as a disgruntled employee. So I definitely don't want to seem like a disgruntled mom or a disgruntled parent, but I need to be in the know. And I don't want to be one of the last to know when it's too late to make a decision about something, right? So I sent out a little PSA about the PTA, wondering if there's anybody who's ever been a part of the PTA who has or who is on the PTA right now. How is it? What are the benefits? What are the pros and cons? Of course, my first thought is, like anything that you pay dues on, if you pay dues, your voice will get heard. However, if you flip it to how voting is done, everywhere, just because you vote doesn't mean your voice is heard. So I'm really looking into doing PTA. I really would like some feedback if there's anybody who has any information about PTAs. And they're starting to recruit pretty soon. So, I will post more things. I will be following this up into the decision making of being a part of a PTA or not. I will be giving the updates on the pros and cons. Right now, I live in a pretty big county where I stay. It's predominantly this county. And it's just a lot of stuff going on. So I want to know if it's worth investing my time and my money, or should I just stay a disgruntled parent? Pretty good at fighting for the rights and for the good. So I've never, backed down from a fade. So I am just trying to get some insight, like I said, and see what's going on. But if you guys give me any insight, let me know what you think about the PTA. Like I said, is it worth it? I would really appreciate it. I have a junior high schooler and a high schooler. It is very important for me to be a part of what's going on. Speaking of that, and I just want to kind of talk all things school today because, like I said, we made it through the first week. I'm proud of you parents. I'm proud of you students, kids, all of the people who, had to hit it hard this week. After, kind of feeling like we've been through a rough summer. It seemed like, sometimes we get kind of prepared back to school things and stuff. But I kind of noticed that this week, or I'm sorry, this time around, there wasn't so many back to school events. They kind of consolidated them, things like that. And that kind of raised some cause for concern. I noticed that in my area, they did a back to school thing at the convention center, to where they could bring a lot of the counties or a lot of the schools there instead of having them at individual schools, right? So yeah, that's cool, but that's a lot of kids and a lot of in one place. Let me say it like that. It's a pretty big space, like I said, convention center. But that's it's too much. It's too much. So we didn't go to that one. But we went to a couple of different things and stuff, and just the stuff that they're giving out, and for the kids and the back to school stuff, I can see it getting slimmer and slimmer. So again, I kind of want to know what's going on behind the scenes. I am a type of make it make sense type of person. I am learning recently here, if you try to make it make sense too much and I just ain't getting it, that's a little bit of coercion. So we don't do it like that. If it don't make sense, I just fly by it. But the PTA right now makes a lot of sense to me. And PTA, of course, we know is Parent Teacher Association, right? I want to get into associating with the teachers who are my bridgeway to the upperclassmen, or I'm sorry, the overheads. Um, and I want to know what's going on. I want to know what's going on. You put out all these bulletins about, having strict guidelines. My daughter's school said that they would be doing premium food and lunches this time around, which I thought was a little strange because, we just got the free lunch program back. So to just get it back right before school started, I didn't see it coming together as such a big, um, you know, great thing again, I'll say. So they're already falling short of that. My daughters keep me updated on a lot of things going on in school. I ask a lot of questions. So knowing that they put out all these bulletins prior to school starting and everything, I'm just kind of following up with it, which reminds me, I forgot to hit the teachers up this week, but and you do want to stay on top of the teachers with your students. As far as my daughter in high school, they have done what I have to call a clean sweep. I don't know if they decided that the teachers there were not just doing what they were supposed to do. I know the students were complaining, and it gets important to listen to these students. Okay, it gets important to listen to your students. I have told my daughters, by all means, when you're at school, you listen to the authority figures. If you ever feel threatened or violated, then you call me, then I'll get on the adult level. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm they are your parents at school. So I really want to get into what they're talking about, what they know, what they're teaching, especially with my daughter having a new board of teachers, a new this, new that. They've switched positions and stuff like that, which I'm kind of glad because the school wasn't going as well as I had wanted it for her in high school. But we're on a pathway right now. And I don't want to take her off of that pathway. So I want to make sure that the teachers know her pathway and they're following that. So one thing I've noticed about myself this year, and only in the first week, is I'm paying way more attention. Of course, we all need to, right? There's been a lot of changes since January. So we definitely need to pay attention to what is taking effect, what is being applied, how it affects us in the long run, our scholars in school, and then how it affects us outside of. And to bring that point up, I was talking to my daughter this week, and she goes, "Well, Mom, they're getting ready to close down schools." And I told her, "Well, Ray, they've been talking about closing down schools, and if it's one thing that COVID did show us is that we don't really need the facility anymore, right?" So what they found this year is that there are not as many enrollments in the schools facilities, not just where I live, but in other places that I guess they've taken the census on. I was reading that most facilities, school facilities, can hold up to 70,000 students. Right now, there's roughly 50,000 on an average that's checking in or enrolled in schools right now. I guess they have taken the alternative road, and that is to go to online school, or you got kids that's just not going. So what I found interesting is our president has decided to, and I will post a lot of this stuff on my page and to follow up. There's meetings coming up. I will keep you guys informed because I think it's very important. If it's happening in my area, I'm sure it's going to happen in yours. So he's decided that since these facilities are not holding all these students, let's go ahead and close the schools down. That's the resolution. Let's close the schools down that are not being used, use those facilities for whatever to make America great again. And then we will consolidate and overcrowd the other schools that are still standing. Don't take me verbatim. That's not what he said, but that is what's being implied. On the flip side of that, the irony to that is that you hired someone that you trusted to negotiate and navigate your educational department. and I'm talking about the president and his friend's office. I'm sorry. And you hired Miss McMahon to be a part or to lead your educational department. And now that you're finding out what's going on and how these facilities are just taking billions of dollars and aren't even using them, now you want to start closing down schools and kind of taking some of her um, authority from her. And it was funny because I was discussing this with somebody else, and she made the joke and said, it's almost like she's saying, bro, I just got the job. Like, you just gave me the job and I'm already getting it pulled from under me. And so it's funny to me that his resolution, he already lowered the GPA for teachers. I don't know if anybody's aware of that. But he lowered the GPA because there was such a teacher shortage that he figured, let's hire some hireable people. Trying to find the words as I go. I know that the algorithms can, take me by storm. So I'm trying to find the words that don't offend or anything else. But so he got to hiring some hireable people, but you have parents like me who are concerned about that. One thing that I said to, or one point I made to one of my daughter's teachers is, while he's lowering the GPA level for teachers, I'm concerned that when my daughter graduates, she will be graduating with a higher GPA than the teacher who taught her. Make that make sense, or don't, because at that point that becomes coercion. I'm going to have to let that go. However, I'm not in control of that. I want my daughter to have a good education. I want her to keep pushing, through with some stuff. I want her to stay motivated. All those things for this pathway. But I need it to be done right. And I do understand that there are teachers that are bowing out. For those of you that are teachers or some type of educational administrator, thank you so much for hanging on. I know it's hard. I know it gets challenging, another reason why I wanted to be a part of the PTA. I'm a whole character, and like my podcast, Bad to Business, bringing all diverse discussions to business, it's about finding some common ground in a diverse world. So part of me wanting to be on the PTA is finding how much diversity, as far as even different trains of thoughts, where your vision is going for our scholars. Again, these are my kids too. So I need to know where you're going with that. But, not to be all over the place, I want to touch back on this. So he lowered the GPA, and that was not enough. Guess we still weren't doing it. Kids are still not coming to school. Parents are not pleased. You know what? He's real simple in that he doesn't take long to make a decision. Now, on the flip side to that, that could mean it's just, not very well thought out, not very well looked into, not very well researched. But as I've come to learn, and I saw in a movie, some people are elected to lead and not to read. So you got somebody who's making decisions just to make it as easy as cut it out, close the schools. Let's do away with whatever's not doing it. I saw that in Atlanta alone, there will be at least 42 schools closed. I think they said by like 2040. So in the next 20 years, 42 schools. First of all, I'm kind of surprised. Like, Atlanta public school system has 42 schools that's up and running and, got kids coming. But so he plans on closing them down. Now, Miss McMahon says, now, wait a minute. Like I said, bro, you just gave me the job. You just gave me the job. So give me a minute. Let me try to see what's going on. So I read that she is now asking the president to back her and help her to promote recruiters to go out and talk to these kids and talk to these scholars and these students and find out why they're not going to school, or, what is it that they're missing. I think I talked to someone who said that this has happened before and it's still declining. So she's asking him to give her some time. I don't know what his decision on that is yet. I'm pretty sure he didn't take any time to make a decision on that. But she's asking for some time. So I'm really excited to see how she incorporates her PTA-ism to find out what we need to do to not close schools. What are the programs that we need? Now, if you think about it, and I was thinking about it myself, part of the reason why some of these parents have decided to enroll their child into online schools now is because a lot of the programs were cut. I said a lot of the programs were cut, in case you missed that. So the reason why the programs were cut is because, well, I'm sorry, I don't know, and I'm not going to make it make sense to you because I would straight be doing coercion to try to make it make sense. But the programs were cut. So when you got moms like me who have to work later than when the schools are let out, and now I have nobody to watch my child. Well, I'm not going to be confused and going stupid and cutting my hours that is, helping me pay for my little bit of medical. So now what I have to do is I'm gonna have to cut the school stuff out because the taking you to school and then now I don't have anywhere for you to go after school and I'll be honest with you, my daughters were on online schooling for 2 years after COVID. I did not have the time, the patience, nor the flexibility to go back to work and them say, oh no, we're going back. Oh no, we're going back. Oh, take them in, send them back, take them in. I just didn't have that. So I said, until the world gets a handle on their viruses, my kids will be safely at home. So I did that. There is, some pros and cons to it. I was able to keep a monitor on my kids. I want to tell you that they were safely at home instead of in these crazy schools. But as you know as well as I know, your home can be just as unsafe from predators as somewhere on the outside. So it was a chance I was taking, but it was a better chance to keep them at home and not have the ups and downs than to go to work and them fire me over no control of my own. So they did the 2 years online and it was good. The reason why I decided to let them go back is because now the world is changing. My daughter was about to start high school and I did not want her to miss out on the social part of high school. That's a part of her shaping her character and shaping who she is. So I didn't want her to miss out on that. So I made the conscious decision, okay, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go back face to face. That first year was rough. Okay. I did not have any parent teacher association. I was just trying to get them back and now trying to get into a schedule. I did have to cut my hours to go and get them. A lot of things came out of that. So I'm learning as I go. Like I said, there's pros and cons about them going to school. There's pros and cons about them being on online. So now a lot of kids are going to online. I totally understand the parents. The programs are cut. They don't know what to do. They had to keep their kids at home. It is what it is. And it does work for those that it works for. I'll say it like that. So I am following pretty closely to see how our president and our head of the educational department is going to handle these schools not having kids in them. As far as I know, they are still building schools or rebuilding some schools, but I think that there's going to be a halt on that really soon. It's sad to say, but it is what it is. Like I said, COVID showed us what we could and what we can and cannot do without socializing with the rest of the world. So, it's just a matter of time before the convenience comes. But I am also hoping that our president tries to kind of accommodate, see what's going on, bring back some type of programs that help us parents, that we're not depriving our kids, because one con about your kids being at home is to cut off that socialization. And then the only part of the world that they get to see or understand is what's on that TV screen or what's on that phone. It's really not a great thing for the kids. So I'm just saying, y'all, stay tuned. I have some, especially in my area, I don't know if it's going to be happening in yours, but I have some bulletins, some meetings that are coming up about what's going on, what's soon to develop in the area. There's a meeting coming up, at least in my area, on the 25th of August. I will be showing up in person. I will be taking some notes, some things going on. They'll be talking about their ideas of closing schools and what they plan on doing. And I can only hope that they met with the educational director and the president and got some notes before they try to bring it to the public and tell us what is to happen, what is not to happen. So I am excited to follow up on that. Like I said, I will be posting that on my page for anybody who lives in my area. I'd like for you to show up, show up, show up, show up. That's what it takes. Show up. Ask the questions. Let them know that there's some pressure on it. When the less people that show up, the more they know that they can have their way. in any parts of the world for that matter. But definitely want to show up for your kids. And keep asking those teachers. There's a lot of teachers that I'm finding that don't know. They're shoulder shrugging. That does not sit well with me. Unacceptable. Go find out. Go ask your boss. Go put it in your group chat. I need to know by the next week. We need to know what's going on in these schools, these areas, and just what our children are going to be headed into. Because while you think that that's just like a school issue, we know as parents that is going to fall on us, like the parents who no longer have these programs because they voted for a president that they thought would accommodate the things they needed. See, that's what happens when you try to be a little deceitful and underhanded and try to undercut other people. You end up cutting off your own people too. Got to be careful. Just be right. So, also, real quick, while I'm touching on that, it's really important for me to be a part of the PTA in my county, because in my county, and I'm not going to speak too much on this until I follow up and I have more facts from when it began to what it is now. We had a councilman that was on the board in my county, and he blew the whistle. He found out that there were some funds misappropriated, that they were not being taken seriously. They weren't going to the places that they needed to go to. So he blew the whistle. And he was fired for it. He was fired for it. And I may have said something about it before, maybe not, but it's very important. So he was fired for it, trying to sweep it under the table, so they thought. This man, again, I don't want to say his name. I really need to get all these facts straight first, but I will be following up on it as I follow up on the PTA. This man came back about a month ago, which has been now about 4 months since he's been fired. And what he said was, I don't even want my job back. I don't even want to work with these people. That's not what I'm here for. He said, what was my job and is still my job to do right is to make sure that these people, these taxpayers, are getting their money applied correctly. I am telling y'all right now that I myself recorded $70,000 plus of, I'm going to say, unrecorded expenses, meaning, like he said, we have the um, we have the access to the money, but for some reason it's not being applied right. So he was digging and wondering why, and I even told somebody I was talking to, I said it seems as though he was hired to be the fall guy, and he found out, and so he told them he's not going to do that. So they fired him. Came back now about a month ago and said, it's not about me having my job, it's about these taxpayers' money being applied right. All right. So he said, just go find the money. That's all I'm asking y'all to do. Leave me. I'm bringing it to you. Find the money. That's all I'm asking you to do. So they decided to do some digging. And they decided to see if what he said was even valid. And it turned out that the head councilman, I can't tell you if he is, he's not the mayor of my area, but he was spending money on lavish trips and food and things of that nature in my county where I pay taxes that I would have known nothing about if this man didn't get hired and fired. Oh man, God, with the process, you're good. You're good. And that man don't even want his job back. So when I tell y'all it's important to be in the know of parent teacher associations, what the school board is doing, because you're paying all this money and we sit at home and we wonder, where's my money going? Why is this happening? Why? We can ask each other all day what's going on and can't answer nothing. Go ask the people who know. Show up for your kids and ask what's going on. And it's funny, I'm saying all this while I pose the question, should I go for the PTA? Should I not? What do you guys think? I'm dead in that right now. I'm sorry. I'm unaliving that right now. I'm going to move forward and be more involved. I want to know, and it seems as though they put out these little bulletins that say, hey, we have this going on this date. They don't really discuss it, don't really follow up. They don't really catch our attention like everything else does on these phones. So they figure they won't show up. They know better, and they hold it at the time where parents are just getting off of work. I tell you what, I'll take the day off. One thing I remember my aunt telling me, she said, as I was a substitute teacher, Shannon, I did not have any favorites. I didn't show any favoritism. She said, but for the parents who did call me on a regular to check for their child, check how their child was doing, we seem to pay more attention to those kids. Why? Because we know the parents are going to call and they're going to want an update, and we got to say something that says we are paying attention. So I got that. And now I need and want for the teachers to pay more attention to what's going on. They're going to answer the questions they're going to answer me to the questions I have. I really need that right now. So, again, maybe you don't have to join the PTA, but it is important that you ask these questions. Show up at your kid's school, once in a while. I'm on this regimen now where I reach out to the teachers and I have a templated question. It's just general question that I'm sending to all my to all the teachers of my daughters. And it basically just says, "Hey, how you doing? Happy Friday," because I'm doing it every Friday. Happy Friday. Just wanted to check and see how Ray is doing, how Nay is doing. Let me know what's going on. Are we staying up? Are we falling back? Let me know. And that's something that I have now determined or decided that I will do every Friday. Because if that's what keeps my kids on their mind to make sure that they're getting the education, I want the teacher to tell my daughters, you better turn that in. You don't want to be late on nothing. Your mom's going to be calling and asking me and I'm going to have to tell her. That's what I want. Parent Teacher Association. Otherwise, what's the point of a PTA? I'm not finna pay no dues. That's not gonna get me heard. I'm not going to show up to places and meetings that's not gonna get me heard. I'm not gonna not show up because that doesn't get me heard. So I am encouraging you parents to follow up with the schools. Do it early. They're already trying to make changes after the first week. Apparently, they've heard of the changes like I have. So what they're trying to do is get their kids in order, shape them, get them to where they need to be, whatever the case may be. But we as parents want to make sure that they're doing it right. We leave our children with them for more parts of the attentive part of their day than we have them. Even when we do have them, even when we do have them on the days that, we could have them all day, it's on the weekend. That's only 2 days out of a week. So please, I am encouraging y'all, stay up on what's going on in your county. If you don't want to know what's going on just in the city, ask them where your money is going. Your taxpayer money is going as far as the schools. We know the lottery is supposed to be paying the schools. But when the schools were shut down during COVID, where did all that money stack up? Because people were still playing the lottery. So just like our taxes, just like insurance that we pay into and never use, what happens to it? Why are we not asking what happens? I just got my daughter a phone and they tried to tell me it was all these taxes. Oh, taxes and extras, additional taxes add up to $65. I said, oh, can you break that down? Can you break down how that added up? What taxes am I paying that this great America has put back on me to add up to $63 when the phone was free? How the phone free and the tax is $63? Find out what's going on with your money. You may feel like there's nothing you can really do about it, but you won't know till you find out what's going on with it. You don't even know what's going on with your money, therefore you can't know what to vote for or what to vote against. You got to know everything in your voting scale or slide is attached to what you can contribute to it. So at this point, like I said, we're doing all things school, though. I'm not doing political. Only through, our great America and our great American team in there, because now they are facing what us, little people are facing. I'm just a parent with children at school who need the programs. Well, don't have the program. Now we go backwards. Don't have the programs. My child won't be going to the school. And now I'm just a parent that you want money from, that you want my taxes from, that I will no longer put into anything else until I know that my kids are good. So, again, shout out to all kids that made it through school this week. Keep going, okay? KFG, keep going. Parents, keep going. This is only the beginning. We got until almost next summer. So get involved, please. I would love to hear from you all. I will be sharing. I think I'm going to start a little PTA something, maybe my PTA journey, to show y'all how serious I am. I need my kids to have the support they need. If I give it to them at home, you gonna give it to them outside of the home, especially where I'm supposed to be paying my tax-paying money and all the education. You got all the time with my kids. You gonna do it right. So, like I said, I'll be following up. I'll be putting bulletins up. I'll be putting the meeting dates up for anybody who's in my area, want to come out and check out what's going on, get your voice heard, show up for your kids, show up for your community. Let's do it. And other than that, those who are not in my area, maybe you can kind of see what's going on and what is on the table, on the business table for discussion. And maybe you can bring it up to your council members and see why they are or are not talking about it, why they are not having meetings about what's going on in the counties. And what we do know is what is going on with our deficiencies in America is affecting everybody. So whether it's affecting you now or not, it will somehow. If you are the boss of a company, your employees finna quit. Your employees are going to have a hard time doing some stuff this year if they have kids. So get ready to accommodate or replace. It is what it is. If we don't want another high unemployment rate, let's get with our president and our council members and see what they can offer us with the money they do have stored up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Like I said, let's get with the PTA, Parent Teachers Association. I'd love to hear from y'all. Let me know what your scholars, teachers are talking about. It might be something that hits your end that hasn't hit my end yet, or vice versa. But we definitely need to get a conversation about it. I cannot wait to tell y'all what they are talking about in my county. So hopefully I'll follow up with that. Y'all can hit me back. Remember, click in, tap in, call in, hit my line. And we'll follow up with this discussion. I am excited to tell y'all what is going on with our money in our county. All right. So, again, thank you for joining me. Have a great Friday night. I am SHYNEN Saffron. Peace. Bad to business.